we're going to do today is demonstrate how to get a weapon from Fallout New Vegas and get it to work in Fallout 3, because I always thought that Fallout 3 didn't have enough weapons, and so one day I decided to try and get some of the weapons to work in Fallout 3, just a bit of extra variety. So first of all, what you're going to want to do is find where your Fallout 3 is installed, which for me is in my local disk C, program files, Steam. Oh my god, my folder's at my bottom for some reason. Steam apps, common, and then you're going to want Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. So, Fallout New Vegas data, you'll see you've got all of these little figures here. So you'll want to go to Fallout Meshes and double click this, and it will open with Fallout Mod Manager, assuming you've downloaded it. Well, you can just Google Fallout Mod Manager, download it, and then you want to extract them all to a location. But I've already done that, and then going back to common, Fallout 3 data, and the same for Fallout Meshes. And once they've all been extracted somewhere, we're going to want to go to Meshes Fallout 3, which is where I've saved my Fallout 3 meshes, and just Meshes, which is where I saved my Fallout New Vegas meshes. In this tutorial I'm going to be using NifScope as well, which you can download just by googling NifScope and downloading it. So first of all, in my Fallout New Vegas, I'm going to go to Meshes and Weapons, and find a weapon that I want to import. Some weapons just won't work with Fallout 3, no matter what NifScope method you use, but some of them do lend themselves quite nicely. Sorry, I was a cut there. For example, two-hand automatic and Assault Carbine. Yeah, I'm filming this tutorial at home, so there might be interruptions while people try and talk to me. So I've opened the Assault Carbine in NifScope. I've deliberately associated my NIFs with NifScope. You might have to open NifScope first and load it. But and next up, the reason I've said you should open your Fallout 3 meshes is because we're going to find a weapon that has a similar magazine to the one that we're using here, and one whose reload animation will kind of suit. So for this, we're going to use Meshes, scroll down to Weapons. All these are automatically sorted when you extract. You'll probably have discovered that yourself by now. Two-hand automatic and assault rifle, which opens up the Chinese assault rifle. And the reason I'm using Chinese and not normal assault rifle is because on a normal assault rifle he pulls a little handle forward on the front of a gun, which obviously the assault carbine doesn't have. But on this one he just pulls back this charging handle, which is just out of a player's view enough to get away with not including it in the model. So first of all, we're going to click on the magazine for the assault carbine, and I'm going to click up here, clip, which is where the arrow is extended down, and I'm going to block, remove branch, and just click up here where it says assault carbine again. And now I'm going to click on the magazine here, which is called magazine, click here, and block, copy branch. Now we're going back over to the assault carbine, and we're at the very top one, I'm going to block, paste branch, and you'll see the clip appears in a really awkward and annoying place. So the first thing we'll want to do now is, you'll see this is called cocking mechanism. We're going to click here, and you'll see all these block details appear, and where it says text # cocking, we're going to click the text once, and we're going to change its name. And what we're going to change its name to is the same name that it has in the Fallout 3, which for us is magazine. And the second time it says cocking mech 0, we're going to click this little text thing next to string again, and you'll see in the Fallout 3 one it's called magazine 0. So we'll call that magazine 0. And now the size of the magazine and the positioning is obviously also important. So we're done with Fallout 3 now. What we're going to do is make sure we've clicked on magazine and scroll down, and you'll see here there are a couple of numbers like scale and translation. And what you have to do is double click here and painstakingly change these numbers until you get the exact positioning. But that is a huge faff, and so I'm going to do it off camera and just show you the numbers that I picked in one that I've already done and put into my Fallout 3 game, so I'll go and do that now. So here it is. I used the extended magazines version. I don't know why I did that, must have been an accident. But I'm just going to open it and show you what I did. So you'll see here, my Assault Carbine has a much smaller magazine and it's in a reasonable looking position. So my translation numbers, for X I did minus 1.3, for Y I kept it the same, and Z I kept it the same, but for where it says scale float I changed it to 0.8, so it was just slightly smaller. So what we're going to want to do now is open the Garden of Eden creation kit. We're going into the Fallout 3 GECK now. And we're just going to open the base Fallout 3. So here we are, all loaded up, and I cut out the loading time because GECK takes ages to open. So first up, we're going to want to save our plugin. There we go. And we're going to give it some kind of name, any name. Assault Carbine, why not? Okay. And now we're going to want to go back to the Fallout 3 folder that we were in before, data. Now we're going to go to meshes and create a new folder. And give it the same name as the ESP we just made, Assault Carbine. Then find the two-hand automatic Assault Carbine that we made and move it over. And we're done with that. We're done with all the folders now. This is going to be... Oh wait, we're not done with all the folders. I'll do a demonstration of something now. So, if I go to static now and right-click new, and we're going to call it First Person Assault Carbine, and model, hit file model name, edit, meshes, Assault Carbine 2. So you'll see when this loads up, yes, see, look, missing texture. Bam, it's red. So what we're going to want to do is, when you'll remember the process when we extracted the meshes, I went to data. We're going to do the same thing for Fallout New Vegas data, Fallout New Vegas textures, and Fallout Textures 2. There are two different folders, both of which you need to extract. So I'm going to go back to the documents and textures. Textures 2, textures. That's where you'll find weapons. I made the Textures 2 folder, so if you haven't made unique folders, you have to extract both files to find it, 'cause there's so many. Two-hand automatic. And we're looking for First Person Assault Carbine and First Person Assault Carbine N. So we're going to copy both of these. I'm going to hit Recent Places and Data. I'm now back in the Fallout 3 data folder. Textures. Make a new folder and give it the same name as what we're doing, the name of our ESP, and paste the Assault Carbine text in. So we're just going to hit OK on the red model and leave that there for now. But we're going to go up to Texture Set and right click New. Assault Carbine Text. For diffuse, we're going to hit here, Edit, Textures, Assault Carbine, and hit the non-underscore one. And for normal/gloss, we're going to click here and put this one in and hit OK. So now we're going to want to find our first person model that we made again. So I'll just search it in the bar, and we're going to hit Edit, and we've got the red one again. So now for all of these except magazine, we need to click on Trigger and look for ASCARB text, clocking mechanism, ASCARB text, charging handle, ASCARB text, and finally Assault Carbine. Oh, it didn't go in. So there you go, now it actually looks like the Assault Carbine. Okay. So we're going to scroll up to weapons, and the quickest and easiest way of doing this is So I'll just go to the Chinese assault rifle, change its thing, change its ID to something unique, change its name, and go to art and sound and hit model edit, and you'll see here we've got a Chinese assault rifle, but instead we want to click edit here, go to ASCARB and ASCARB 2, and then it'll come up all red again. So we need to go through the same process as we did before with the first person model, bring in all of these except magazine to have Assault Carb text, and there we go, looks like an Assault Carbine. And now first person assault rifle, change that to first person assault carbine, and you can fiddle around with all the settings, like give it 5mm ammo, change its clip rounds. In game data you'll find everything like damage, how much it weighs, how much health it has, how many ammos it uses per shot, and that is the basic weapon. Obviously if we want to create a repair list, we're going to have to make a whole new form list. So to do that, yes, create new form, and now we're going to scroll until we find form list and new. Now it's going to go back to weapons, and it's disappeared behind here. Give our form list an ID, like repair assault carbine, and now get our assault carbine, click and drag it over here, and hit OK. Double click back in, and repair assault carbine. Change that. And you can basically fiddle with every setting that you want, but that is it. That weapon will now work, and the reason that it will work only if you make sure that reload E is set, because reload E is the same reload that the Chinese assault rifle uses, and because we've made our mesh the same as the Chinese assault rifle, your character will use it. So now I'm going to demonstrate what that looks like when your NPC uses it. So I'm just going to, the tutorial's pretty much over, I'm just doing a demonstration of what it will look like now in game. So I'm going to give him an assault carbine weapon, preview him in full, scroll to animation, and oh, he has no animations. Let's give him an ID. Reopen him again, and scroll over to animations, and I'm just going to demonstrate now. Great way to look up animations without having to go in game and look at it. Two-hand automatic, and you'll remember we had reload E. He takes out a magazine and reloads a gun. And see if I use any of the other reloads, he won't interact with the magazine, and that's because we changed the magazine's name to be the same as the Chinese assault rifle reload. And that is that done. You can find ways to distribute it around the wasteland by using the leveled lists. So for example, in these condition assault rifle loot, you can like put it in. And now there's a chance that these people will use the assault carbine. If you just pop it into different form lists, it will appear in the game. Or you can just place it somewhere, click and drag it into the render window. It's like vendor weapons all, you know, you can just vendor small guns. You can put it in here. So there's a Braxo cleaner, but we don't want that. Weapons ASCARB. And so but basically this tutorial was about making it. I'll go into more detail on form lists, maybe another tutorial, but that is how you get this particular Fallout weapon in. But as long as you understand the basics, that in order to get a reload animation to work, you have to find a weapon that's similar to it, or whose reload animation you think will suit the gun. Copy the clip over into that gun, replacing the default clip. Put it into game and make sure that that weapon shares a reload animation with the weapon whose clip you copied, and it should theoretically work. Obviously some of them, the reload animations are just completely incompatible, like I tried to bring my 9mm pistol over, but because the slide like pulls back and then pops forward. That just doesn't exist in Fallout 3. Some things just don't translate over well. But things like the Assault Carbine, and I did the same with the service rifle. They all seem to work okay, and you can just put a couple of extra weapons into the game. Makes a nice little adds a bit of variation, because I always found it was a bit with too few weapons. So that's it. Hopefully that was